comfortable and stable. Try and make sure our arms are a little bit away from our body so we don't get too hot. Hands in your lap. Left hand supports right, representing wisdom, supporting compassion. They can be on your knees, whatever is comfortable for you. I will just go very quickly through the body to make sure your posture is comfortable. So think about the hair on your crown, on the top of your head. Imagine at the top that there's a cord, a golden cord, which runs through your spine. And you gently, mentally tug that cord so it's straight, and then you let it go. As you let it go, your head will drop forward a little bit. So not completely forward, but just a little bit. So we're not gazing out around the room. If your eyes are open, then they would be focused about 1 metre in front of you. An unfocused gaze is recommended. So think about your eyes. It's good if you can try and meditate with your eyes a little bit open, let some light in. That's to stop us from signaling sleep. Closing our eyes generally signals our body to go to sleep. This is not a relaxation meditation. This is about your body being relaxed and stable, but your mind being alert. So your face itself, try and relax your face. So your teeth are probably together, not grinding. Tongue up behind your top teeth on the hard palate, stops us generating saliva. And come down to your neck, particularly if your neck is stiff. Just very gently turn your head to the level of your shoulder, just once on each side, just to release that tension. Meditation, if you've got some aches and pains, meditation won't cure your aches and pains. The idea is to help you focus on the mental activity rather than on your pain. So shrug your shoulders a little bit, particularly if they're sore. Where you've got pain, try and breathe into it. So accept it for the level it is now, and while we're meditating, we'll think about something else. Arms away from your body. So now that our body has probably got roughly the right posture, we need to prepare our mind. To do that, we've got to kind of become present in this room, whatever room you're in, because we're also talking to people at home, watching and listening to the meditation. Just become aware of what your body is touching, the skin is touching the clothes. Maybe you can feel a chair or a cushion underneath you, whatever your feet are touching. And then thinking about, so what can you hear? You can hear my voice. You might be hearing all kinds of other things. You'll hear some traffic here. We'll hear people entering the room. You might, if you're lucky, be able to hear some bird song. So we're not going to concentrate on those, but you'll still be aware of those things happening. What we're going to do is concentrate on our own mind and think about why you decided to do some meditation. We all have more than one reason for doing anything. So you might decide that this is a good time to get your mind a little bit clearer, just to rest rest it from all the crazy thoughts we have. Maybe this is your way of waking up, to get your mind alert, ready for the day. Maybe you find meditation helps you be a bit calmer through the day. You might be thinking of much grander ideas, much broader strategies. And in this tradition at Buddha House, what we think of is the idea of becoming enlightened so that we can benefit others. To break that down, you think about, so I myself would like to be happy. I don't want to suffer. Once I've established that pretty clearly, not only do I need to know how, one of the first things that occurs to us is that what about our loved ones, the people we actually care about? What about their suffering and their happiness? And it quickly becomes clear that we can't guarantee our own happiness. How can we help others? And that's the idea of becoming enlightened. Being aware, of what we do, what's around us, what we can do to help others. Okay. Now we'll express all those things quite formally in the Refuge in Bodhicitta prayer on page 1 of this little booklet. We'll say it 3 times in English. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. And we'll say the 4 immeasurables, just trying to keep in mind, we'll say it in English just once. We're trying to include all sentient beings. We're trying to include all beings who have mind. So not just humans, not even just animals, all kinds of beings. And trying to, it's an aspirational prayer to try and wish them happiness and freedom from suffering. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that's free from suffering. And may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. Okay. So we're going to do some mindfulness of breathing. So just assume your meditative posture, and the focus of what we're going to do is to focus our mind on a single thing, our own breathing. So trying to leave aside all the things we've been thinking about, all the stimulus that might be in looking around this room or wherever you are, and just trying to be, we'll all still be breathing. You just try and be aware of how your breathing happens. Is it even? Do you breathe more heavily on one side or the other? So not trying to change it, trying to observe your own breathing. Now we all get distracted. The mind is constantly thinking, it's what it does. The heart of the practice is to bring your mind back and refocus on breathing in and breathing out. If it helps, you can count. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. 1. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. 2. And you try and keep that count going as long as you're completely focused on your own breath. If you can get to about 5 or 7, stop and just keep on watching your breath. It's just a device to help you focus. So just watching your breath. just leave that part of the meditation here. So have a stretch. Stand up if you need to. Have a sip of water. Okay. Now the next part is a analytical meditation. And by that I mean we're going to use the calm and focus that we've developed, hopefully, in the first part, to try and use our logical mind to help us analyse a topic from the graduated path to enlightenment. This is called the Lamrim. So this is just a series of meditations to help us develop basically bodhicitta and an understanding of how things exist. But it's a step-by-step process. So we've just started in the last few weeks the generating bodhicitta process. So we did the meditation recognizing all sentient beings as one's mother. So as I was talking about before, all sentient beings, so meaning all beings who have mind. So to think about that, you just try and include all the living beings you can think of that would have mind. So animals, birds, fish, insects. And you can kind of think about, so do they have mind? It's pretty hard if you can't see them, but if you can see them, even an ant, if you put an obstacle in its way, it'll go around it. So it's noticed something. It's aware of its surroundings. So it has some kind of mind. Birds, of course, are similar. That's why we put water out for them. They notice that it's there. They drink the water. You just try and include all the beings you can think of who have mind. And we think of all of them as having been our mothers. Because in the Buddhist concept, we all get reborn as different beings, sometimes in different places, different universes maybe. But there has been enough time for us all to have been mothered by every conceivable kind of being, and possibly every actual being who has ever been. So the idea is, in the way that a mother cares for its young, all beings have been kind to us, or to me particularly, and you as well, of course. So last week we did remembering their kindness, working out that really all the good things that happen to us, in fact, our ability to live, is related to other sentient beings. Haven't already done so, we're resuming our meditation posture. And we try and think about what that means. So think about all the things you did today and how dependent all of those things are on other beings. So the clothing you're wearing, you might think it only depends on going down to the shop. Even that will be supplied by people who work in the shop, people who drive the goods to the shop, people who make the things, people who create them, people who design them, probably lots of humans. But if you start to think about the food that you eat, any kind of food, so we're not just talking about where the food might involve the killing of an actual animal, sizable animal, and so he makes bacon or he makes beef or whatever. Every kind of food that we eat has been the result of other beings living and dying. So if you eat rice, thousands and thousands of beings are killed because the insects that live on the rice are killed when the rice paddy is flooded. If you eat wheat, similar process happens. Not flooding. This time it's probably a harvesting process. Every conceivable kind of food involves generally lots of insects doing all kinds of things. So bees pollinate, that enables things to grow. Without the bees, we couldn't do anything at all. We wouldn't have any food, but neither would anyone else. So we get benefit from many, many kinds of beings. And in many ways, our happiness is dependent on other beings. So this meditation is to think about repaying that kindness. And so, why would we want to do that? If you think about when someone's kind to you, say someone gives you a present, or maybe someone just lets you in front of them in a queue, bring along some fruit that's grown in their yard and they share it with you. We're not talking about big things. It just can be little things. It doesn't have to be, sharing their lottery winnings. It's little things that make our lives pleasant. And those kinds of kindnesses, we often feel like trying to repay, which is good. And we start to think, so how could I possibly repay that kind of kindness? If you know the person, that might be fine. If someone gives you oranges, maybe you can give them something from your yard. But for the vast majority of kindnesses, that's not really something you can do. You need to think of a bigger idea. So you think about what happens when you drive the car, particularly when the traffic is busy. How much easier it would be if we all let people in when they needed to join our lane. So if we let people in, maybe they'll let us in, then we would all get to where we're going a whole lot faster and a whole lot calmer. I'm always puzzled by looking at the way people get so upset. Why is that person wanting to join my lane? Why can't they just wait? Why did they cut in front of me? It would just be easier if we just let people do things in a kinder way, get there a bit faster. So just think for a little moment of the kind things that have happened to you in the last week or so. Not big things, and not necessarily from the people who are closest to you, but where other people have done things for you. Maybe a shop assistant, maybe a waitress, maybe someone who made food for you. Just think, how did that make you feel? Particularly if it was unexpected. It doesn't have to be grand. Maybe you went to a restaurant and someone actually remembered your order correctly. This is a good experience. So sometimes we just feel happy being noticed, getting good customer service. So think about if we saw all other beings, even all other humans, as like the person who is kind to us. So instead of seeing them all as a mass of undistinguished, unknown entities, think of them all as potentially kind people. Because by and large, and certainly in this country where we're not actually at war, by and large people are relatively kind to us. We don't have to be afraid of answering our door or of walking down the street. If we thought of all the people we come in contact with as kind, how would we behave to repay their kindness? If you think about it, even the animals that are familiar with, they're kind to us as well. You have a pet, maybe they spend time with you. I know they like to be fed, but it might be, a dog might go for a walk with you, but actually look happy when they see you. Most pets allow physical contact, which might not be in their general nature. So we can't necessarily change the circumstances of all the beings we know. We can't make them happy. We can't remove their suffering. We can try and behave in a way that doesn't cause them any more suffering. And maybe we try and do things like smile at people when we walk down the street, or be courteous and polite to people, but that's not going to stop their suffering. Everyone we come across has their own burden, their own inner turmoil, their own suffering. concept is that we need to develop enough awareness that we can repay the kindness by enabling them to become aware of Dharma. That's not to say we should be preaching to them, but we should be behaving in a way that enables them to see Dharma is valuable, maybe even to them. So that'll be all those things we've been trying to do, what they sometimes call the 6 perfections, trying to be generous, kind, enthusiastic, helping people physically where we can, being compassionate, not judging them, not being angry with them, being patient. All that list of impossible things we can't seem to do for very long. We have to try and do them for everyone all the time. Partly because we owe them, but also partly because it would improve us. We're able to see people as kind and deserving of our kindness, the happier we're going to be. Instead of thinking, the alternative is thinking of people as enemies, that everyone is out to rip me off, everyone who knocks on my door is a potential enemy, everyone who rings the phone is a potential shopping, what do you call it? Tele-shopping marketer. Lots of our life these days is surrounded by thinking, what could go wrong? So while sometimes that's healthy in terms of not getting hurt too much, it's not healthy in the sense of how closed and how narrow that makes us when we look at the world. And we need some empathy for some people, some of the people we see on the news who are living in much nastier conditions, who are desperately unhappy for what look like very good reasons, because there's a war going on, there's no food, the place isn't safe, there's a fire, a flood, all kinds of disasters we see. We can't individually solve those problems for everyone. No way. So what can we do? So just take a moment to think about what you can do. What in practical terms can you do to help your life not be swamped by the suffering of others? It's so overwhelming we can't seem to fix. Remembering that all these beings have probably been kind to us in some way. They may have helped produce our food or our clothes or our building material. The Buddhist teaching suggests that the only thing we can really do in the long term, or the best repayment, is to help others with the realization of Dharma. This will help them overcome their problems and fulfill their wishes for happiness, both now and in the future. So really it's about developing an attitude in ourselves. An attitude of effortless compassion, such as a mother has for her beloved, beautiful baby. By thinking that all living beings are equally tormented and that all have constantly been kind to me. So effectively, we're reaffirming our aspiration to attain Buddhahood as quickly as possible so that we can help or be of some benefit to all living beings. I'll just finish with the Dalai Lama's prayer. It's kind of, he says, one of the things he says every day to himself. For as long as space endures, for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too abide to dispel the miseries of the world. We'll leave that here. Okay, thank you. We'll just do dedication prayer, the idea of which is to try and save some of those merits, emotions, realizations. So on page 2 and 3, it's down the bottom, just called dedication prayers, just once in English. Through the merits of these virtuous actions, I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the precious body-mind not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. May the precious right view not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. Thank you. What have we got? Okay. There's no teachings during the week. There is an 16 Arhats Puja on Wednesday night. Meditations are ongoing. But next weekend, Geshe Tubden Sherab is coming. So he's been here once before, maybe over 10 years ago now, a while back. He teaches English. He's quite a funny guy, amusing to listen to, but great knowledge of the Dharma. He's going to be teaching on emptiness over next weekend, so there'll be a 2-day workshop, which you can register for through Try Booking online. There's a walk and picnic on the Monday in the daytime, obviously, and that will depend on the weather. If it's too hot, they won't go. And on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock next, so not this week coming, but the week after, that Tuesday there's a public talk, so he'll give a public talk at 7 o'clock. So there are calendars outside for February and flyers. Thank you. Enjoy your Sunday. Thank you. See you later. Okay.